Guys, we are creeping up on the draft, and we are starting to see solidified some of the more popular Chiefs in the first round type selections. We have three of them in this article today, and spoilers, I'm going to go one by one through them and say why I think they're probably not going to be the selection. The article titled Three Best Fits for Kansas City Chiefs with number 31 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft by Bryce Lazenby. The article itself starts as such. The Kansas City Chiefs have been one of the best NFL teams over the last several seasons. The team is fresh off another Super Bowl appearance in 2024. However, this most recent appearance ended in defeat at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles. Bygones be bygones. Maybe this happened. Maybe it didn't. I'm not really sure. I believe that to be the case. It's open to interpretation. The team has spent this offseason trying to reload for another run in 2025. I think they're going to. With free agency largely over, the Chiefs' next opportunity to improve will take place in the 2025 NFL Draft because the team's Super Bowl appearance, the Chiefs will have the number 31 pick in the first round. Today, let's identify the top three prospects who make the most sense for the Chiefs to begin the draft. Josh Conerly, offensive lineman from Oregon. The Chiefs need to address the offensive line during this draft. Jalen Moore was brought in during free agency, but the tackle isn't an experienced starter, and the team could be looking for more upside. Josh Conerly had a fantastic 2024 at Oregon, and the blocker earned a 78.3 Pro Football Focus grade and allowed just one sack in just under 1,000 snaps at left tackle. Conerly has the size, speed, and technique to stick at tackle in the NFL. The blocker held up well against the best edge rushers in the Big Ten and was an asset in both pass protection and run blocking. Coming in at 6'5", 311 pounds, 10 3/8 inch hands, 33.5 inch arms. Both of those meet what Andy Reid likes from his offensive lineman. 5'05", 40-yard dash. That's a good number. 87th percentile. 10-yard split of 171. Both of those good numbers for a guy who is pushing 315, but an elite vertical leap of 34.5 inches, 98th percentile, 103-inch broad jump, not the greatest, 24 bench press reps, not the greatest. Why don't I think Josh Conerly will be the pick for the Kansas City Chiefs? Guys, I'm not sure he's going to be there. Josh Conerly might be the most natural pass-blocking offensive tackle in this class. Armand Mimbu out of Mizzou has been skyrocketing up boards since I don't know when. I really don't. I really don't know when that started. You just looked up. I think I do know when. The NFL.com website had him listed as the number one offensive tackle in their combine rankings. And it became sort of retrofitted after that. But I don't think he's as natural a pass blocker as is Josh Conerly. Josh Conerly is, so we see here run blocking, right? An asset in both pass protection and run blocking. I don't know that he is really going to be a plus run blocker in the NFL. I think he has the opportunity to be an absolutely dominant pass blocker. Not a guarantee, right? He's got some things he's got to work on, but because of so he reminds me, he does remind me a little bit of Jawan Taylor. The good side of Jawan Taylor, the plus side Jawan Taylor. But the negative side, I guess, with the run blocking, I don't think Jawan Taylor is the most effective run blocker. I think that is probably where Josh Conerly is on that. But Jawan Taylor, when he really gets his pass set down, he's a pretty good pass blocker. I think that Josh Conerly in the NFL has the athleticism to be a much more consistent Jawan Taylor. And look, say what you will about Jawan Taylor, the guy's making $20 million a year, and there were no shortage of teams looking to sign him off of his contract with the Jaguars. If you had Jawan Taylor plus 15%, I think you'd take it every day of the week. If you had Jawan Taylor plus 15% on your left side and you were picking at 31, I think you would take it every day of the week. That said, because of that upside, I don't think he's going to be there at 31. The most natural pass blocking offensive tackle in this class falling all the way to 31, I just don't see it happening. Then, no surprise here, the next pick is another left tackle, Josh Simmons, out of Ohio State. Sticking with the theme, Josh Simmons from Ohio State would be another solid option for the Chiefs. Simmons was having a fantastic 2024 season before an injury ended his campaign after 6 games. However, in those 6 games, Simmons earned a 74.4 Pro Football Focus grade and allowed 0 sacks in 306 snaps. Simmons is a technically sound blocker who keeps edge rushers in front of him and carves out running lanes. The blocker has the length and strength to stick at tackle in the NFL, which is what the Chiefs need. Like Connerly, Simmons could challenge Moore for the left tackle spot and could be their heir apparent at the position. This contains a surprise for me. 6'5", 317 pounds, 10-inch hands, 33-inch arms. Those are all standard-ish numbers. 5'1", 40-yard dash, supposedly, right? That O there means other. So at a camp somewhere or during a spring practice at some point, he supposedly ran a 5'1", didn't do it actually. But I had no idea. I don't know how I overlooked this. Josh Simmons put up 34 reps on the bench press. That is 97th percentile. Why won't the Chiefs draft Josh Simmons? Well, you might notice a pattern here. I'm not sure he's going to be there. So he is not a physical freak. Got a great bench press, but he's not a physical freak. 6'5", 317, within the realm, right? 10-inch hands, maybe on the smaller side. 33-inch arms, right around what is kind of acceptable. 5'1", 540, maybe we've never seen it. 34 bench press reps is good. Had Josh Simmons played his entire final season in college, we might not be talking about Armand Mimbu as the number 1 left tackle in this class. We might be talking about Josh Simmons as the number 1 left tackle in this class. So all you have to have happen before the 31st pick is have someone say, okay, we're going to take a flyer, because Simmons could be a guy that spends 10 seasons making the Pro Bowl. He could be. I'm not saying that's guaranteed, right? But he could be. And you can see it on the field. And you can see it on the field having no idea he put up 34 reps on the bench press, right? Those 34 reps on the bench press mean something. If we go back up to Connerly here, 34 reps, remember that. Josh Connerly, the pass blocking guy, 24 reps. 10 rep difference there. So Josh Simmons, I don't think we ever saw him really utilize that strength. Now, well, if we didn't see him use it, isn't that a bad thing? Well, no. Not if you're an NFL coach. Not if you're an NFL scout. You would have liked to see him use 34 rep strength. However, what you do know is you have the coaches to get that out of him. That is what you're counting on in the NFL. So there's one of the things that I think I've seen this season more than any. I pay attention to the draft a lot, guys. This is my second favorite part of the football season. I love the NFL draft, all the intrigue, all of the measurables, all of the sort of jockeying, the game theory that goes into it. more than ever with this draft, I think what we have seen is this lazy commentary that a guy can't do something. Oh, he's a good pass blocker, but he can't do the run blocking at all. You're going to be paying him millions of dollars to take coaching from a guy that you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. If those two can't have a meeting of the mind and get something else out of this player, then, well, you're doing it wrong from top to bottom. Part of the NFL draft, a big part of the NFL draft, is potential. So there are certain things that a guy simply cannot do, right? If a guy's only got a 20-inch vertical and he's 5'7" and he plays wide receiver, you're not high pointing him the ball. But if a guy has all of the measurables that need be, then you are counting on your coaches to coach that player up into whatever it is that you have to start in the NFL. Even the seventh round. So another sort of lazy thing that is coming up is this, well, it's a seventh round pick. Do you really want the seventh round picks? Well, yeah, you do, because you believe that you can find a guy that could be molded into a starter. That's not what you're counting on, but you believe it. Brett Veach got 3 in a single 7th round. Jalen Watson started games for the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco started games for the Chiefs. Najee Johnson started games for the Chiefs. They all came from the same 7th round. The Chiefs have 3 7th round picks this year. Now here, James Pierce Jr., edge, Tennessee. If the Chiefs don't want to go for an offensive lineman, a talented edge rusher could be the selection. James Pierce was dominant at Tennessee and could thrive in the NFL as well. The defender has long arms that teams covet in pass rushers and has the speed to get around the best tackles. In 2024, Pierce racked up 38 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, and 7.5 sacks. The defender earned an elite 87.1 Pro Football Focus grade in 2024 and was credited with a whopping 43 quarterback hurries. In Kansas City, Pierce could start opposite George Karlaftis, giving the team a scary 1-2 punch on the edge. Now, just off the top, he would start opposite George Karlaftis. Yes, he does weigh 245 pounds, but he's 6'5". He has decent arm length, 32 3/4 inch arms, 10-inch hands. He runs a 4.47 40-yard dash with a 1.56 10-yard split. He has a 123-inch broad jump. He has the tools to get the job done. Why won't the Chiefs draft him? Is it because he's 245 pounds and he's not the Spags type? Is it because your good old buddy Scrambling Armchair did a mock draft with James Pierce as the first rounder and was absolutely assailed because of it? No and no. Guys, I don't think they're going to draft James Pierce because I don't think he is going to be there either. You're looking at what might be the second best edge rusher in this class. So you have two guys that I wouldn't necessarily argue with anyone ranking them as the second best left tackle in this draft, and a guy who might be the second best edge player in this class. There's almost zero opportunity that any of these guys, there's 3 of them, so I have to say any of these guys, will be there with the 31st overall pick. It's possible, right? Things happen in the draft. Funny things happen in the draft. Strange things happen in the draft. Weird players find themselves selected 21st overall. I expect you to come back here when all of a sudden Brady Cook is taken 21st overall, right? But it's possible that any of these guys is there. It's possible that all of these guys are there. I don't think any of them will be. I don't know if the left tackle is the position that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go after. What they did with signing Moore is they gave themselves a 2-year window to figure something out. It's not a huge contract that they have on Moore, so pretend Josh Simmons falls to 31 and they like Josh Simmons. well, they can take him. They don't have to. They did a very good job this offseason of putting themselves into position where they don't have to take anything. So, it might be something so strange as a cornerback that we see the Kansas City Chiefs take in the first round. It might be something Quinshawn Judkins falls to 31, and Brett Veach thinks this is the player that revolutionizes the offense. Right there, we just saw a mock draft where Tetaroa McMillan somehow fell to 31 overall. So anything could happen in the draft, and I think the Chiefs have put themselves in position to really be able to capitalize on whatever does happen in the draft. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.